Our speaker embarked on a career in nursing, securing a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing from California State University and received her master's degree in public health from UCLA. She worked as a nurse and in management positions in healthcare. She continues to be passionate about healthcare and maintains her licensure as a registered nurse. She began her political career in 1994, where she served 5 terms in the Guam legislature. With the passing of her brother, Tony Leon Cabrera, she assumed the helm at the Bank of Guam as its CEO and president in 2005. She has served on several boards of various civic organizations, and she took the office as the 9th governor of Guam in 2019. Members and guests, please join me in welcoming our guest speaker, the Honorable Lourdes Leon Guerrero, Governor of Guam.
Catherine, buenas to half a day. You know, as I was listening to, first of all, Ed, congratulations again, or should I say condolences? But congratulations for taking again the helm of the Chamber of Commerce, and all the newly elected board members, congratulations. But as I was listening to Ed announce all the free services, I can't help but say, hey, the Chamber of Commerce is so aligned with the government of Guam. It's like to give free services. I just want to say thank you, Catherine, for inviting me to speak. And I want to say thank you for all your participation. And I hope to give you a very good, comprehensive view of what we, the government, have done in our last 7 years and what we hope to continue on. So I would begin by saying good morning and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for the invitation and actually for your leadership that you provide in this island. Through the challenges of the last 7 years and in so many moments before, you kept your doors open, choosing perseverance when closing would have been easier. You made payroll when certainty was not in short supply. You adapted as markets shifted and rules changed. And you carried responsibility not just for your businesses, but for the families who depend on them. I know how heavy that responsibility is because starting something, risking your name, your savings, your reputation requires courage. And I respect deeply everyone who chooses to take the risk on Guam. That shared sense of responsibility is what has carried this island forward. And it is why we can say this honestly today. Guam has moved beyond holding the line and into a moment of possibility. The question before us is no longer whether we can recover, because recovery is underway. The question now is whether we are willing to do the harder, more important work, the work of resurgence. Because after years of disruption, Guam is not just standing. Guam is rising with purpose and with choices before us. Not long ago, uncertainty defined our outlook. Unemployment approached 6%. Now we have reduced it by nearly half to 3.2%. We've added more than 6,000 new jobs since the height of the pandemic. We turned an $83 million deficit into a multi-year surplus and a growing rainy day fund. Vendor payables too often cleared in months or years in the past, and now we pay them in 60 to 90 days. Bondholders, once concerned about our ability to repay debt, now consider us investment grade. And we pay tax refunds in 3 to 6 weeks, not the 26 required by court order. We do not claim perfection or declare that we are exactly where we want to be. But today, the ground is firmer. Financial audits are cleaner. And the institutions that underpin commerce from our port to our utilities are operating with discipline and foresight. And the real economy reflects that. Tourism is rebuilding. Construction activity is accelerating. Private investment is returning. But this did not happen by chance. It happened because this community, government, business, and workers chose responsibility over shortcuts and reform over delay. As always, tourism remains a central engine of growth, and its momentum is real. Hotel occupancy tax collections increased by 12% from 2023 to 2024. And late last year, monthly arrivals surged by more than 30% compared to the year before, a pace that has carried us into this fiscal year. Visitor arrivals in fiscal year 2026 to date show arrivals rose by 28.7%. Just this December, month to date, comparing 2025 to 2024, arrivals rose by 41.6%. Calendar year 2025 versus 2024, we saw a 5.8%. In 2024 alone, the visitor economy drove over $1.4 billion in business sales across Guam and supported more than 1,400 jobs. We have also felt loss. The departure of familiar names, places like Hard Rock and DFS, has been significant. Those closures affect workers and families, and they deserve to be acknowledged honestly. But they must also be understood clearly. The world is changing at viral speed. How people travel is changing. What they expect from destination is changing. How retail functions within tourism economies is changing. Even in Hawaii, one of the world's most established tourism destinations, DFS, is withdrawing. That does not signal the end of tourism. It signals a shift in what tourism demands. The moment does not ask us to defend the past. It asks us to compete in the present. Thankfully, construction continues as a powerful tailwind, with public and private projects already in motion and substantial increases expected through 2026. Defense investment continues to anchor demand at a scale few communities in America experience. Over the past decade, the Department of Defense has directed more than $5 billion in military construction and family housing investment to Guam. Camp Bloss is now operational and expected to support about 5,000 Marines, with relocations already underway. In total, Guam is home to more than 21,000 service members and family members, creating sustained demand for housing, services, logistics, healthcare, and local enterprise. The level of investment brings opportunity, but it also brings responsibility. While we are proud of Guam's role in our nation's security, no one can deny that this exceptional responsibility comes with a unique burden. Rapid population shifts, pressure on housing and infrastructure, labor market disruptions, local businesses competing for workers, land, and capital. That is why I have continually pressed federal officials within the executive branch and in Congress to convene a rare meeting of the Department of Defense's Economic Adjustment Committee. This committee exists for moments exactly like this. It brings senior federal agencies together to ensure that when defense-related growth reshapes a local economy, communities are not left to absorb the cost alone. For Guam, this effort is about protection and fairness. It is about making sure defense growth does not crowd our local businesses. It is about aligning workforce pipelines so civilian employees benefit and not lose out. It is about coordinating housing and infrastructure investment that strengthen the civilian economy alongside national security missions. In short, it is about ensuring Guam has a seat at the table when national decisions reshape our local economy. I am pleased to share that preliminary coordination meetings are expected to begin soon, making an important step toward aligning federal investment with Guam's long-term economic health. This is how we turn obligation into opportunity and growth into sustainability. That is why our focus now is not simply recovery, it is positioning. We are strengthening the fundamentals every business depends on: predictable finances, modern systems, reliable infrastructure, and institutions that plan for the long term. We are expanding access to capital through loan guarantees, venture investment, and financing tools that help local businesses grow, modernize, and partner. We are investing in people because workforce development is not a side issue. It is the difference between growth that stalls and growth that lasts. To date, the Guam Registered Apprenticeship Program has delivered multiple intensive boot camps, producing more than 1,000 skilled workers across a wide range of industries: construction, hospitality, childcare, healthcare, trades, emerging technical fields. And we are diversifying so Guam is never again dependent on a single engine for prosperity. Through the University of Guam and its partnerships, we nationally recognized institutions such as the Colorado School of Mines. We are strengthening local expertise in engineering and mining. I also want to highlight two developments happening right here in Guam that signal we are not participants in the future economy. We are shaping it. First is the Guam Accelerated Project, an initiative brought to life through a partnership between our government, Astro America, the U.S. Navy, and national defense leadership, all with a shared vision of bringing advanced manufacturing and additive technology to Guam. This effort is about diversifying our economy, building a highly skilled technical workforce, and positioning Guam as a critical hub in the Indo-Pacific for submarine industrial base capacity and STEM careers. At the heart of that vision is the Guam Additive Materials and Manufacturing Accelerator, called GAMA, Manufacturing Center under construction in Derrida. When operational, expected as early as April, this facility will house advanced 3D printing and manufacturing systems capable of producing mission-critical components right here on our island. For the U.S. Navy, that means slashing repair times for ships and submarines from months or even years down to weeks by producing parts on demand instead of waiting for them to arrive from the mainland. For Guam, it means good paying jobs, new technical career paths, and a local workforce equipped for the industries of tomorrow. It means students at the University of Guam and the Guam Community College will have access to cutting-edge education from mechanical engineering to additive manufacturing in partnership with national institutions. And we are acting internationally as well. Earlier this year, I met directly with President Lai Ching-te of Taiwan. along with the senior public sector leaders and private investors, to advance Guam's role as a bridge for high-value strategic investment in the Indo-Pacific. I also want to say I invited your chair of the Chamber of Commerce, Kay Ho, and was there who professionally and excellently represented the Guam Chamber of Commerce. Those discussions generated serious interest in bringing new industries to Guam, from vertical agriculture and aquaculture to strengthen food security, data centers and high-tech infrastructure, and next-generation manufacturing that aligns with U.S. supply chain priorities. Because interest alone is not enough, we are making the upfront investments to move quickly when opportunity comes. We are developing an industrial park to prepare Guam for rapid development manufacturing, including potential chips-related semiconductor and advanced component production, and we are actively exploring pharmaceutical manufacturing to support both civilian and defense needs in the region, and this was led by Frank Campillo in the Economic Council that we have put forward. This is how Guam competes, not by waiting, but by preparing, by putting land, infrastructure, and workforce and regulatory readiness in place so that when investors are ready to move, Guam is ready. If recent years have taught us anything, it is that no one can deny the link between the health of our economy and the health of our people. When healthcare costs spiral, businesses feel it, workers feel it, and taxpayers absorb the consequences. That is why our administration led the implementation of a Government of Guam self-insurance health plan for medical coverage and pharmacy benefits and dental benefits. And in doing so, we proved that health insurance can be delivered at lower premiums and with better benefits while still saving taxpayers millions of dollars. Those savings did not come from cutting care. They came from smarter purchasing, stronger oversight, and the discipline to manage costs, responsibly demonstrating that efficiency and compassion go hand in hand when leadership is willing to do the work. Now that we have proven that it can be done, the responsibility before us is to expand access to affordable health coverage so more working families and employers can benefit from systems that deliver value, stability, and predictability. And we must be equally clear about our obligations to care. Guam has one public hospital, and our people deserve better. We will build a new hospital for our people, one that reflects modern standards of care, supports our doctors and nurses, and keep families close to home when they need care the most. Today, that effort faces real risk. Guam is confronting the potential loss of $104 million in federal recovery funds that could have strengthened hospital infrastructure, power, and wastewater system, the essential foundations of a modern medical facility. 10 years from now, no one will remember the arguments. They will remember only whether we protected the capacity to care for our people. Healthcare decisions are not judged by rhetoric. They are judged by outcomes, by whether care is available, costs are controlled, and systems endure when families need them the most. Because true progress is measured by more than what appears in an audit, a revenue report, or a profit and loss statement. It is when over 90% of our public school students graduate. It is when teachers, nurses, and law enforcement officers receive long overdue, meaningful pay increases. It is when more than 1,000 pounds of methamphetamine have been removed from our communities. It is when police presence is visible and sustained, with new cruisers and more officers on our streets. Taken together, these are not isolated actions. They reflect a single reality. An economy can only sustain quality of life when it retains competent people and compensates them in ways that respect the work they do. Because growth that outpaces health, education, and public safety does not lift a community up. It strains it. Which is why our progress, our resurgence, is not only about numbers, it is about where investments shows up and whether people can see it in their villages, in their neighborhoods, in their daily lives. Thanks to our Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and the Guam State Clearinghouse, federal funding and resources beyond GovGuam's financial capacity were secured so that we can invest directly into our villages and our neighborhoods. We've gotten better at complying with grant regulations and monitoring measures, and because of this, critical village infrastructure projects have been carried from federal agency approved to completion. These projects aren't empty promises we made in a campaign 8 years ago. These investments are now open in use and serving you and your families in villages from north to south, from Dedido to Barrigada to Tamuning to Talafofo. Malesu, Sinahanya, Orda, Chanampago, Talafofo, and Haga now have new gymnasiums, playgrounds, sports fields, and renovated recreational facilities, serving our children and your families every day. And these village investments aren't done yet. Today, the Guam State Clearinghouse is working closely with our mayors to break ground on 5 new open-air gymnasiums coming to Momung Totomaiti. We just did Toto yesterday. Asan, Maina, Piti, Humatet, and Inalahan, where an additional $1 million has been delivered to preserve and open access to Gadal's Cave, protecting our history while expanding public access to future generations. In total, this represents more than $20 million in recreational facility investments that will be serving our villages. This is what responsible growth looks like. So let me close with this. The work of putting the government's financial house in order was essential. It was the necessary work, the very basic foundation that we had to do. The next phase requires leadership ready to ensure that the benefits of economic growth are felt by everyone willing to work for it, especially when it comes to affordability, housing, and opportunity. The work of expanding Guam's circle of economic opportunity cannot be completed in the life of one administration or in the tenure of one governor. It will outlast any chamber president. It will outlast any business cycle because it is the work of everyone who loves Guam and wants to see it better. Leadership now requires responsibility. Government must lead with stability and fairness. Businesses must lead with innovation and opportunity. And together we must ensure that growth becomes resurgence, shared, durable, and worthy of the people of Guam. Thank you, and Sidzus Monson. What am I going to do in this 11 months? And they said, Governor, you could probably start relaxing. I said, hell no. We have a lot more work to do. And so they also say, Governor, what are you going to do after your administration, your governing? I said, well, I think I'm going to join back the private business community. Thank you for your Catherine asked me if it's okay to take questions. I'm more than happy to take questions, and if I don't know the answer, I'll just say I don't know the answer. Any questions? Comments? I mean, you can ask me anything except how much I weigh. None? Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Go back to work now.
Thank you, Governor. That was great. And if I'm glad we have one thing in common where if you want to ask me a question, don't ask me how much I weigh. But anyhow, when the governor was talking, what came to mind immediately, particularly with what we had all gone through over the last 7-8 years, is when you're driving a car, do you ever wonder why your rear view mirror is smaller than your windshield? It's because what you're looking at in the rear view mirror is already gone. What you have in the windshield is what's ahead of you. And what the governor had mentioned is that times have changed. Nobody thought DFS, big DFS would ever leave. Now we have to pivot. Nobody thought that tourism would be as fragile as it is, and we have to pivot. So thank you, Governor. That's very insightful, and I really appreciate it. You mentioned I was a glutton for punishment, and I started to think, whoever wants to be governor has to be a real glutton for punishment. I mean, Josh, I don't know. A good thing you don't have any hair, because but listening to the governor, I was like, man, you really have to have a big heart to take on this responsibility, because it's an immense responsibility. So before we call the meeting to order, Governor, I just want to thank you for your heart and your care for our island, our business community, and our people. It's a tremendous job, and one you really have to ask yourselves, who would really want this? And you have to have that big heart and care for our people and our island. So with that, if there's any questions aside from my weight, we will call, Siska.
Hi, Ed. Thank you. I'd like to give a floor to the administrator of GIDA and the chairman of the board. She has some announcement of what resources is available for small businesses, and I'd like her to announce that.
Okay, is this free loans? Just want to check. Okay.
Just a real quick commercial. GIDA today released its Guam Business Resource Guide. It's a one-pager on all GIDA programs. The one we're really pushing is we received a $58 million grant for business support. And we're doing that through our partner banks, and then we're also doing a direct venture capital program. And again, this is money for the businesses to help live, to help expand, to help grow. And so that resource guide we'll have available. We'll send to Kathy to make sure she sends it out to everyone.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sister, for GIDA is close to my heart because Tina and I used to work there together many years ago. But for those young aspiring entrepreneurs, they have some great programs, and I really think you need to visit their offices to get more information.
So how we can be partner banks too.
I can tell you. You just got to sign the form. Yeah, it's a very simple process, and you know, I think this is something that is really going to help, because considering what's happening in the economy, the banks want to lend, and GIDA provides alternatives to help the bank push out some of that $58 million.
My
So,
son reminded me we already have.
yeah, I was going to tell you that, Phil, but you know, didn't want to pull you up. But anyhow, that's beside the point. Any other questions? All right. With that, thank you all for coming, and the general membership meeting for January is now adjourned. So I really appreciate all of you. Thank you very much.